All right, so we're up to a pretty good amount at this point, so I think we will go ahead and get started. My name is Ben Hummerding, and I am the acting director and lead academic product manager for the Bachelor's and Masters of IT. And I'm here with our vice president of what is the actual title on that? Because you're over a bunch of different things.
It's a vice president in the School of Technology of Cyber, Cloud, and IT.
Okay, so there's not like one thing. It's cyber, cloud, and IT. And Linda joined us recently in September, and we're very happy to have her. She's been a great boss, so I appreciate it. Also on the call today, we have Caritza. I don't know if you want to say hello, Caritza, but feel free.
Hey everyone, I'm Caritza McCoy. I'm one of the managers in the BSIT and MSITMUG programs here. So happy to help and happy to be here.
And then we also have in the chat, Kathy Garlington, who's an instructor manager. So you may see some responses from Kathy. There she is. All right, well, let's get started. Again, just a quick reminder as you're joining, if you have questions, drop them either in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we will get to those. You can start putting them in whenever you want. We may answer them along the way, but we're happy to re-answer any questions that we need to. We want to make sure you get the information you need. So this is the Bachelor and Master Breakout session for the IT and IT management programs. And we'll go ahead and jump in. Next slide, please. So program overview wise, well, there are actually 3 programs that are part of the IT space, and it's the Bachelor's in IT, the Master's in IT Management, and then we have something called MSITMUG, which is the Accelerated Master's that combines the Bachelor's and Master's together. We're going to talk about all 3 of those programs today, but we're going to start with the BSIT program. So BSIT, General IT Foundational Program in Modern Technology. We talk about computer hardware, software, networking, security, data management. It's your basic IT degree. It is, I always like to explain it as it's a very wide breadth of topics that you cover in IT. We just don't go as deep as you might go in a specific program like cyber or the networking and cloud program, so on and so forth. But you get kind of a little bit of everything, so you can go in a lot of different directions. A couple things that I think are important about this degree today is a lot of students have been choosing the BSIT program because it's so flexible and allows them to go in multiple different directions. People wonder about the value of an IT degree today, but actually it's becoming more sought after than it was even just a couple of years ago. Kind of interesting, just the way that market has turned around there. But that's kind of what that degree is. And in that degree, one thing that's unique about WGU is we have 9 industry relevant certifications that are part of the program. And those include a lot of the CompTIA certifications. So you have A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, Project Plus. And by taking a combination of those, you also get IT Operations Specialist and Secure Infrastructure Specialist from CompTIA. So those come along with that. They're stackable certifications. They don't require additional, those last 2 don't require any additional courses. They just automatically happen once you pass those first 4. We also have the Amazon AWS Cloud Practitioner, the ITIL Foundation, ITIL 4, and then we've got the Linux Essentials from LPI. So lots of great certifications. And the way all of those certifications work in our program in the BSIT is you actually take the third-party certification from, say, CompTIA, and when you pass that, you get credit for passing our course. All the certification costs and everything is actually included in your tuition already, so there's no additional cost to you for those courses at all. It's already built into the tuition. So those are some questions we commonly get from students, but those are the ones you get from BSIT. So you might be wondering, what can I do with a BSIT degree? And what we found through research is a lot of our students end up going to small and medium-sized businesses. So you're talking about things like school districts or universities or like a city government, like county, city government, state government, healthcare, or other small or medium-sized businesses where they become part of a small IT team and they have to do a little bit of everything, or they might be the only IT person and again need to know a little bit about everything, which is why our degree is so broad. but we also see a lot of students going into some areas like IT project management and system administration. There are some IT support that's shrinking right now because of things like AI, that kind of stuff, but that's still a place where some students might go into a larger corporation. Project coordinators, IT specialists, IT technicians, and so on and so forth. So you can see that some networking there as well, and some security there as well. So that's kind of where students are ending up in general, but that's where they go. So moving on then from that to the master's degree. So if you're here for just specifically the master's, this one is effective IT management. It's about understanding the business, aligning technology and solutions with the technology solutions with business goals, and managing resources and teams to really deliver value through the IT organization. This one only has one certification, and it's optional. It is the CAP-M certification from PMI. And so you take our exam, you pass our course, and then we give you a voucher for that one, and you can choose to take that and get the CAP-M if you want it. Some people come in with it already. So that's kind of how that one works. Then as far as where would you go with this degree, this one's actually really similar in some ways. You're just starting at a higher level. So still IT project manager, but you might be more leading a project team. Product owners, other just general IT managers, directors. There are a few people who might end up in the C-suite from something like this if you have enough experience as well. So a lot of those types of positions in the middle manager and above, that's where this degree is really, really helpful. And then we have the last one, which is the MSITM UG, or the Accelerated Master's Program. This is really nice for students who want a bachelor's degree, but also are thinking they might want to accelerate into more of a leadership role. And basically, it combines those two degrees together. And you take 4 of the master's level courses and you replace 4 of the bachelor's courses. So that's the acceleration piece there, where you're accelerating to completing your master's degree. And even if for some reason you chose not to complete and to move into the master's degree at the end of your bachelor's, you still have those 4 master's level courses, which is pretty great as well. So what we get in here for certifications is very similar to what you get in the BSIT, with one exception, and that is Project Plus is replaced by the CAP-M, because that's one of the crossover courses. So it's still optional as it is in the master's program, but that course replaces that one, and that's kind of how that works. And a couple things that are important to understand about the Bridge program. We were one of the first ones at WGU to offer this, are on the next screen, and there are 3 kind of big ones. So again, it combines the master's and bachelor's together, which means it's fewer courses. It saves you money over time if you want to earn both those degrees, which is great. Students, this is the big one though. If you take a bridge program, any bridge program at WGU, you must graduate from the undergraduate program part of that, which is still BSIT. Once you've graduated from that, in the next term, not in the same term, you can start that next degree. And that is a Department of Education rule that we tried to get around, to be honest with you, to try to help people accelerate, but you can't take 2 programs in the same term. And that's why you have to wait till the next term to start that. So let's just say you graduate, let's just say you start your term in January, your terms are 6 months, and you finish all your courses in March. Maybe you only had 2 left or something like that in your bachelor's. You graduate, you actually can't start that new program then until July. And that's how that works. And again, we're forced to do it that way, but sometimes students are confused by that. And also the degree program sometimes makes it unclear that how that distinction works. So I always like to call it out in this in this forum, just to help students understand a little bit better. And then the last part, is, as I said, was the CAP-M replaces the Project Plus. So that's kind of what our programs look like. Just a quick, brief overview there. And now it's pretty much turning the time over to you. I don't know, Linda, if you want to say anything as well at this point, but this is you've worked in and around IT for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I will say related to education is there's a lot of discussion about the portability and the value of a degree in technology. And what I will say is that even though there are a lot of companies looking at what kinds of skills do we give our employees and who we hire, having the degree really opens the door for you into areas of tech that normally you wouldn't walk into. So having that education will really help set you up for whatever it is you want to do in tech, but also into leadership and into influencing digital transformation, And so that's why, to me, I have my undergrad. I earned my undergrad not until I was 38 years old and have worked in tech for a very long time. And then I went on to get a graduate degree. But it took me a while to get into leadership, into those roles where I can really influence change in technology because of the limitation that I didn't have my degree. So to me, this is just an awesome opportunity to share that journey with you and to emphasize how awesome and important it is to have a degree. I did have a question for you, though, that maybe somebody else will have, and that is around the CAP-M. So, what does that certification do, and how do you use it?
So CAP-M, the way we generally explain that is Project Plus is about me managing my individual projects and one at a time, where CAP-M is being able to take on multiple projects and sort of lead those. And so it's a little bit higher level course, which is why it replaces it from the master's. And that one comes from PMI, and it is also a stepping stone to the PMP. Some students have asked for PMP and they wish it was part of our program. The reason we don't have that is there is a pretty big experience requirement to gain the PMP. It's like 4,000 hours of project management, and we can't provide that within our degree. So it doesn't feel as valuable as at least a stepping stone. This reduces that a little bit so that you can more quickly attain your PMP.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
All right, let's see here what we have for questions.
There is one in the it says, if I'm coming into WGU with a CISSP certification, will that certify competency in the place of any of the required certifications?
I believe it does. However, when you come in, you're going to be working with your enrollment counselor, and they are going to look at all of those things and see which things transfer against which courses that we have. I believe it does. I don't know off the top of my head that specific one in our program, but I do believe that it does. And you can feel free to. I'll put my email address in this in the chat at the end. And you can feel free to email me with that question. But your enrollment counselor will be able to answer that really quickly about which certifications transfer, and they're going to do a full evaluation of everything that you bring in, including industry certifications, to see what transfers. It's a great question, though. What other ones do we have? We love questions, please. All right. Looks like we've got another one here. Go ahead, Kritz. Do you want to read that one as well?
So for Jessica Garcia, thanks for putting your question in. She's curious on how much overlap in courses there are for the IT program and cloud computing program. She was recently graduated from WGU with her BS in cloud computing, but she's interested in the IT management now, wondering how that would work if she wants to get a degree in IT management and possibly her master's in that program as well.
That program sets you up beautifully, honestly, for the MSITM program. So you'll be more than prepared to take that degree on and get your master's in that. There is actually quite a bit of correlation or overlap between the BSIT and the cloud and networking degrees, as you might expect, because they do overlap quite a bit. You just go much more deeper into specific networking technologies and cloud technologies in those programs, which we dip into. Again, you have the breadth, but you don't have the depth. But you'll be plenty prepared for MSITM.
Awesome.
hopefully that answers your question. Feel free to ask follow-ups as well. Thank you, Jess, for that question.
I think it did. Thanks, Ben and Kathy. Adam also put in there some of the certifications like those from CompTIA may transfer in as well. And yes to that, I believe Luke put in some transferable credits, a link to that. And if you want to elaborate on that, free as well.
Looking to
All right.
see. Yep. Yeah. So thanks for
We have,
adding that link,
yes.
Luke. Appreciate it. You got that for us. Love that.
Awesome. We have another one from Axel. What is the timeline on getting the certifications through the ITBS program?
The timeline is whenever the course occurs in your degree program and you pass that certification, you get the certification immediately. So you can put that, if that's something that would help you in a current job to have a pay increase or apply for a new position, you can use that immediately. So you get those, you don't have to wait till the end of the program or anything like that. It's as you do them throughout the program. It's a great question.
Awesome. Another one here. I'm sure a lot of students ask this one. For the certification, since they are from a third party, do I pay for them separately or do I get a voucher through WGU?
You do not pay for them separately. They're already included in your tuition. So you get vouchers to go take them from us. And again, all of them in BSIT are, you take the exam from CompTIA or AWS, and once you've passed it, you've passed our course. We have material to help support you to make sure you can pass the course, but you actually go to that vendor and you take their exam. But you don't have to pay anything additional. I think the only times you would is if you failed. Is it more than 3 times? I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you failed more than twice, then you have to start paying for the exam after that. Let's see. Anything
I don't
else?
see any new questions yet.
What, from both of your perspectives, we'll start with Kritza. What are some things that students often want to know or are confused by?
Did you really explain the bridge program? So a lot of the students are a little confused coming in because they see that one degree plan and they think that at the end, once they finish that they're graduated both. But it's good to know that you finished that BSIT portion. And even if you don't, like you said, choose to go on to your master's portion, you have taken those GR level, those graduate level courses. If you want to come back later, you'll have those courses transferred in. So I think that's a big question that we get from students, and also a lot about what jobs, what careers they can kind of go into. And good thing we have a good career student services here that they can connect you to different career advisors where you can do mock interviews. We have a job board that has jobs up there for you to look at. And they also can have internships too as well, so that you can kind of get started and get your foot in the door. And so, yeah, those are like the most 2 questions that a lot of the students have. What about you, Kathy?
Yeah, thank you both for that. That's super helpful. And again, there's been a couple more questions on third-party certs, and they've been answered really well. But I will just reiterate that it's concluded in your tuition for up to 2 attempts for every one of those, and all but the CAP-M are, you take that certification, and that is the assessment for our course, and then you move on and you get that certification immediately upon passing, or you get it within like 24 hours or whatever. That the cert comes back to you so that you have that and you can use it. And that's how that works. And then the CAP-M does have, you still get a voucher, but it is, when you take our own exam, it's actually a performance-based assessment as I recall, I think, Kathy, correct? Looks like we have another question about
Yeah, we have
the.
another
Go
question
ahead.
here.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to go on back a little bit. So Adam wants to know a better explanation of how many courses do you need to take per semester. And so, coming from the manager's perspective, you want to have good, what we call on-time progress, OTP. So, completing at least, if you're going to be a full-time student, at least 12 CUs, which is about 4 to 5 courses, depending on what the CU load is. And so, once you complete about 4 or 5 courses, you can kind of accelerate in what we call bring in more courses to kind of get your graduation date a little bit closer. And so, essentially, we have students working at their pace. It's competency based. Everything is right there. So you can essentially, once you finish those initial 4, accelerate in as many courses as you like up until maybe like the last month, just to make sure that you're on the safe side of completing and have enough time to complete. So essentially, you can kind of move and work through your program with the help and the support of your instructor and also your program mentor guiding you through.
And then I would just add, like, for financial aid, the 12 credits is required. And then in the master's program, it's 8 if you need financial aid for that. But we do, to see students graduate in 4 years or less, you need to, you actually have to accelerate to about 15 credits per term to make that goal. Just if you were thinking, I want to do this in 4 years or less, it's about 15 credits, but you have to do at least 12 to maintain financial aid. So it's important to note as well. Looks like. So there are job fairs that happen. Our marketing team runs a lot of those. So we do have some of that stuff. And we do have opportunities for internships, as Carissa was talking about, through career services. So that's something that if you want to investigate some of those things, career services is the best place to go as you're getting near to completing your degree to find some internship opportunities. But we do career fair type things. I would have to check into more about that end of things, but it's usually career services that handles all of that kind of stuff. So hopefully that answers the question there. As far as AI certs, there may be some AI certs that come in and transfer for our courses. I don't think there's going to be too many at the moment, but that can change over time. So we're always evaluating what comes in for transfer credit. And that's what I would say there. As AI, the one thing that's difficult about AI certs is they're new and they're ever changing. And you could have an AI cert this week and then it could be completely different a month from now. So it's a little bit hard for us to keep up with that kind of momentum when it's that quick. But we do try to evaluate transfer credits constantly to make sure that we're giving you the best value we can. There's another question in the Q&A, and it's a great one from Anthony, which is, what's the crossover, if any, between the MSITM UG program and the MBA ITM? So the UG portion, the MSITM UG, is that bridge program. I'm going to take that out of the conversation for the moment, just because there isn't a bridge from BSIT into the MBA. We don't have that. So we're really only talking about MSITM, the difference between that and the MBA ITM, or the MBA IT. And the big difference there is, what we tell people is, if you have a ton of IT experience already and you've worked in IT for a while, but you're a little bit less sure of the business side of things, the MBA is a great way to go. So head over there and you'll get just a little tiny bit of IT over there. It's much less. On our side, it's going to be much more of the technical based. So we cover a little bit of the business side of things in our program, but we're much more the IT based things. So if you have no experience in IT, it's a great way to go to get, if you want to work in the IT space and management. So I think either program's really good. But if you don't have a lot of business background but have a lot of IT experience, then MBA is a good way to go. That's usually what I say. And we just want you to get to the best program for you. Doesn't matter to me which one it is, as long as it's the right one for you. Great question there. Do we have another one? Nope. Okay. We have a couple more things here. Let's see what we got here.
It's showing up. It's showing up as me.
No worries. Go ahead. Yeah, so 17 years of experience. Is it possible to complete a BS in 2 years? Possibly. These are so hard, and the reason they're so hard is it possible? 100%. It's very possible because you come in with experience, and it is competency based. So you can go right to the exams. Basically, if you feel like you've got a really good handle on the content, and that's fine. So you can accelerate really quickly. Where I think sometimes people get tripped up is they maybe haven't been in school for a long time, and they have to kind of figure out the school piece of things a little bit, and that may sometimes slow them down. But generally speaking, people with a lot of experience tend to accelerate pretty well in our programs, I would say. So I don't think that's an issue. Also, if you have a lot of transfer credits coming in from some other things like certifications, that kind of stuff, that can accelerate as well. So you need to talk to your enrollment counselors to see what transfers, if you have certifications from industry already, and that sets you up again for acceleration. But I think in general, it's possible, but every person is different, so it makes it a really hard one to answer. Yeah.
And there's one more from Adam. Does enrollment need to be continuous for a BS degree, or could I do 6 months and then take a break? So I think I can answer this one. So our terms are 6 months. And so we do allow WGU students to take what we call a term break. And it has to be done at the end of your term. You can take up to 3 months for a break if you need to. We are a year-round school. We are off during like the major holidays, but if you need that break, you can only take it at the end of the term.
And I would add, because it's a case that comes up once in a while, if you do have to complete at least one course in that term before you get your term break. So it's really important to note that, you can't get into your term and then decide you want to take the term break. You have to have done it before the term starts, right, Caritza?
Right, good call out. Yes, so you have to complete at least one course before you can be qualified for that. Don't see any more. Let me check Q&A.
57 seconds left. What other questions are there? And I'm just going to put my email address in here really quickly. Yeah, that's a great point. Appreciate that. We're going to take one more question, and we're supposed to wrap according to to those the powers that be. So, does the BS MSIT program include any exposure to programming, scripting, or software? And the answer is it does in the undergraduate. So the BS degree does have scripting and programming. It has some web development as well. So you do get exposed to those. It's not real deep, again, because in general, in IT, you might be doing some scripting and that kind of stuff, but you're not going to be a full-blown, programmer. So it's not as deep as you would get in some of the other programs on the software side of things. So I just want to thank everybody for coming today. And again, reach out to your enrollment counselor with questions. You can email me as well. And we're here to help you out. We can't wait to have you as students. Thank you so much for coming. And one thing we have to ask is for you to leave the broadcast, because we need everybody to be out for it to actually stop recording. So that's something we have to ask for. But thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a great day.